Most children grow up with their biological parents, but on some special occasions, they do not. And I was one of those special occasions. Instead of getting raised by my parents, I was raised by my grandparents. And at that time, I didn't think much of it because I was so young that my grandmother and my mother were kind of like the same person to me. And at one point, when I was about 3 years old, my grandparents decided that we were going to move to Minnesota because California didn't have as many job opportunities as Minnesota did. But leaving behind California meant leaving behind my mother. But like I said, I didn't really have a choice because I was so young. And as the years went by, my mother would call me regularly or yearly. And it would just be to check up on me, saying how was I, how was school, how are my grandparents. And at one of those phone calls, my mother finally broke the news down to me that she was going to decide to move to Minnesota for the same reasons we had. So when I found out, I'd take like a big calendar and I would just mark down the days until the big day came. And I finally realized more and more as the day came closer that after 8 years, I was going to finally have my mother face to face to me. That car ride to the airport felt like it was forever, and although I had already been to the airport before, it felt like it was all new to me. The smell of the nasty food that they sell, and the luggage being wheeled away, and all the people that were mumbling, that had been talking, it all felt really weird. And we finally found a spot to sit to wait for the plane to land. And as I was sitting, I just kept going over and over and over about all the conversations that I had with my mother on the phone. And I wondered if it was going to be the same or if she was even going to accept me. And when I finally found out that the plane had landed, I saw my mother at the gateway, and it was as if like everybody else around her had just disappeared. And I kept thinking, like, do I hug my mother? Do I wave to her? I didn't know because I never had her so close to me. And as she was coming closer to me, she decided to hug me, and we just shared the most awkwardest hug ever. And the car ride home was even more awkward, until she finally pulled out a half-eaten candy bar, and I remember what kind it was. It was a Hershey's Cookies and Cream chocolate bar. And I was eating it, and I thought it was the best chocolate candy bar I had ever eaten, but it was probably because it came from my own mother. And to this day, every single time I eat that candy bar, I think about that very moment, and since then I know what to appreciate when you have it.